Hello. Welcome, welcome. Let's transition in. Hello. Build Force Unite. How's it going, Loud Lungs and Super Sculpt? How's it going, guys? Well, Super Sculpt, I remember correctly, you're from the US, yeah? So thank you for joining us. Are you like working while you're having the stream in the background? Yeah. First off, how's the audio? As always, you know, like just want to check my volume and my audio, the music's volume. Just let me know if it's all good. Yeah, Loud, how's it going? Hope you had a good day. Oh, cool. You're free today. That's awesome. Yeah, so thank you for spending your time with our stream. Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it. Okay, so let's transition in to our main cam. Let's see here. Go and zoom out. Okay, so today's mission is to finish building the Brady Hound. So with the last stream, obviously it took a bit of time just to get the main unit done, but before this stream I took a bit of yesterday actually, I just cut off all the parts and neatly ooh, the visor popped off. There you go, pop it back in. Okay, right, let's move this board out. There you go. Ooh. Okay, there you go. Yeah, so I did a bit of homework. I just cut out all the pieces. It's full of arms, legs, and just weapons, which is not much, but yeah. And just organized it neatly. Yeah. So yeah, this is another good tip. You know, once you get familiar with building, you know, you don't need to just cut off a few parts and build it as you go. If you're feeling confident, and you know, ideally you want to start with like a smaller kit, like a HG or something, just to get into the habit of it. Like I'm still pretty new to this process where I cut out the entire kit. Well, not the entire kit now, because like it's half of the rest of the kit. So I cut it out and just organize it in compartments. I know when it's referring to the manual, I know where to look for the parts. So like up here is for the arms, the hands are, well, like the right side and the left side. So yeah, the right arm's here, left arm, you know, right hands, and so on. And it's like the one part of a leg. You know, generally the arms have less pieces than the legs, so like I just use one section for the arms, but for the legs, you know, generally it's like double the pieces. So I break it down into two compartments for each leg. Yeah, and then the main weapons here, and then just the upper body on the right side with the weapon. So yeah, just kind of neatly organized, so it makes my process a bit easier. Okay, so yeah, so yeah, how are you guys doing? Are you guys building something in the back, or are you guys working on any kits at the moment, like recently? I know, like Loud, you've been painting your freedom, yeah? Or is it justice? Or is it both that you're trying to paint at the same time? Okay, so let's get all these pieces out for the leg. Woo! That's one thing I'm scared of, is like why I'm taking out these pieces and just falls off. And another fear of mine is like, you know, even if I'm like dropping the pieces in, that like, you know, if I'm not being mindful, like the piece that's supposed to be dropped into this compartment drops into another one, and while I'm building is like, wait, what happened to that piece? Yeah. Yeah, learn as we go. Can you guys hear the music though? Like, I don't know if it's way too soft. Should I raise the volume for the music slightly? Let me know. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll just instead of like looking at the manual and say, oh, I need this piece, and trying to like visually identify it within this whole crowd, or what I'll do is I'm also like still learning as I go, but I feel like this could be a good way to strategize and make the building more streamlined. Like, you know, instead of trying to take up all the time to look for the piece, I'll just put it close by where the manual is. Make sure just look for the right piece. Yeah, there you go. And often, once you've cut out a piece, like what I've done last night, you already like remember what the piece is referring to, you know, because you've seen it before. So trying to organize it now shouldn't be too much of a, like a, you know, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, there you go. Okay, the manual's not flat, so it's not going to fall. Right, so let's zoom in a little bit. I've been looking forward to continuing the build. It's been like it's not a week, it's 2 weeks, because yeah, me and Paul are alternating now, so yeah. Okay, so before I just assemble, I would like to snip the pigs. I didn't want to snip the pigs before the stream. I'd rather like judge the snipping of the pigs as I'm assembling. See, like this pig I'm not going to snip because it's part of the articulation. So, you know, once you snip the pig, there's less plaque. Once you snip the pig of joint parts, there's less plastic there to grip full articulation. So, you know, for pigs that's revolving around articulation parts, I actually don't snip, just so that it's still a nice stiff feeling when it comes to articulating and handling your parts. So those, you know, you kind of just make a judgment call on which parts to like. Also this one as well, like it's so short, it's like, yeah, don't need to snip it. Yeah, but you see that pig has a female hole, which this pig I'll snip. But just kind of checking it out. Okay, yeah, so this one I'll snip. Oh, okay. So something I just it's not going to be an issue, but so you saw me like snipping the pigs at an angle. So like here, the back of the leg here, that one you can actually see like, oh, it's been trimmed. So just be like, I know this won't be an issue for this part because I know later on in the assembly there's going to be back armor covering it up. But let's say like if you're building a kit with this, I probably it's like 1% of chance of this, where the pig is actually becoming like the part of the detail, then you don't want to trim that pig, because then like, you know, once you have a piece together, your model kit's gonna look like, oh, it's been like chipped away. But luckily I know this part's gonna be covered up, so it's fine. Yeah. Right. Super Sculpt going to Going to be learning airbrushing on Saturday. Anything I should know? Oh, Ratas, how's it going, man? Hello, welcome to join us. So, Super Sculpt. So when you say learning airbrushing, are you completely new, or how much experience have you got with airbrushing? If you're completely new, okay, first of all, what tools do you have? Is it a dual action airbrush, or is it a single action, just a trigger, or is it one of those dual action, which is the triggers at the top and you push down and pull back? Is it that kind of airbrush? Or what airbrush do you have? Do you know? And what kind of compressor do you have? Is it one with the tanks or without the tankless ones? If you can provide some more information, it would be great. And also, what type of paint will you be working with? Would it be water-based, acrylics? Would it be lacquer-based, enamel? Yeah. Okay, just gauging here. So I've cut out all the pieces previously last night, but I'll reserve the trimming of the pegs as I'm building live, so I can get a better judgment on what to trim and what not to. Okay, so here it says gotta be careful. Yeah, when you see, for people who's built a few kits already, this might be common knowledge. Generally, most of the manuals will show you these things. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, for HGs, they don't really show you as many symbols because I think they don't want to make it too daunting for new builders. But if you're building an RG kit or MG, you'll see all the different instructions beforehand, telling you what kind of symbols to look out for. But for example, this HG, they don't show it in the manual, but they do kind of visually show that if you see any quotation marks like this, that's telling you to be careful about certain details. So that means what it's showing here is that it's saying look out for let's see if it picks that up on our camera. Is that this side with the little extra parts that's sticking out? It's very subtle. This is the one that's facing that side, and the flat side is the other way. Yeah, so you just want to make sure orientation right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very subtle difference. It's the whole, not the whole. The loop is basically it's a bit shifted off center. Yeah, on purpose. So you just want to make sure when you're building it, be mindful about the orientation of things, especially when you see those two quotation marks. And also that male peg I actually chose not to snip off because, again, it's articulation. Pegs around articulation I generally don't snip off because those are the pegs that gets exposed to visually gets exposed. So if you trim this peg, you'll see it from the back. This is the ankle part of something, so you don't want to see it visually, things being pegged off, snipped off. And also once you snip off pegs, there's less plastic around that area, so that means there's it makes the articulation much looser, so you don't want that. You want the articulation to be strong around joints. Yeah. So male pegs around the articulation joints is where I make an exception not to trim off. Okay. check the chat soon. Let's see. Alright, so yeah, okay, cool. So these slits goes in there. So I also trim them off. Yeah. Okay. Again, it's a good idea to trim off pegs as just before, like as you're building, so you can kind of gauge how much to trim. A lot of it is trial and error. Okay, all right, yeah. And now it's, you see, it's nice and loose that I can just easily take it apart. You know, when I'm going to sand this kit or prep it for, you know, painting, it's just so much easier to just take it apart now. You know, I don't even need a parts opener. But yeah, Bandai, when they design these kits, they generally like to have the pegs much longer, just so that it's a secure fit, especially, you know, if kids are building these kits and intending to almost play with them, you know, it's like an action figure and toy. They don't want the pieces to fall apart, you know. But in this case for me, you know, I'm not. This is not a toy for me. This is a model kit. So the faster for me that I can handle the pieces to work with, the better, you know. So I don't mind. I wouldn't say loose fitting, but looser fitting, that I can just easily take it apart and then just, you know, work on a kit, the better for me. Yeah. Especially here, you see like all these slits, they in a sense is also a male peg. So yeah, let me just trim them. It becomes much easier to take apart. When you're doing these kind of grunt work, again, it's nice to use your cheaper nipper that you don't care about or care so much about. Because yeah, the cheaper nippers, they'll have like more thicker blades that can handle this kind of grunt work. Right, let me get this popped in. Let's see. Huh. Cool. Oh. Sweet. Okay, no, so this part, like, again, this is the for the hip piece. So this, again, this is the articulation part. So I'm not going to trim this peg, but also, like when these pieces come together, I don't think I'm going to take them apart again, because like for the nub marks, I can just almost like sand it together, both pieces together. I can just like, you know, change the orientation, and then just sand it together. But also when it comes to painting, this piece actually, I can paint it together. You know, I don't need to take it apart and paint it. It's like I prime and then paint, you know, just turn it and like do the priming, turn it around and just like, you know, prime again just to cover the areas that I didn't get in with the primer. So yeah, certain pieces you don't need to disassemble everything. Cool. Alright. And just take out all these pieces and let's check the chat. Okay. Let's see here. Super Sculpt. I have zero experience. I'm not sure what equipment is at the event. Okay. What event is this? Like a hobby event, hobby expo that you're gonna get the airbrush there, or you're not getting any equipment. You're gonna be using the equipment at the event, is it? But okay, so regardless what like info you have, like what equipment or what type of paint you want to work with, I think the biggest thing is let me get my airbrush again. Let me rather show and tell rather than just tell. So just give me a moment. Let me get my airbrush. Whoops, did I click on something? Okay, alright, so let me zoom out a little bit. Sure, it's been like probably a year since I painted, just haven't made the time to paint, but okay, so if you got a dual action if you're using a dual action airbrush, the biggest thing to practice is to practice the gesture. Let's zoom in a little bit. So with the dual action airbrush, what makes a dual action is that the trigger controls two things. Pushing down is releasing air, from the air hose, and then pulling back pulls the needle back to release paint. So when you paint, you don't want to just do two things in one go. Like you don't want to like, okay, I hope the frame rate keeps up, but you don't want to like press down and pull back in one go, because you're going to get splatters. So what you want to get into the habit of is push down, always push down first, then you pull back, and then when you're done with your painting, then you do the reverse. So release to the front and then let go. Yeah. It's almost like driving a car, a manual. You gotta like clutch in, then change gear, and then I suppose maybe. And how you can practice that very cheaply is you just use water and maybe just a drop of ink or something with the water, and just practice that instead of practicing with your expensive paints. Because paints are very valuable. So practice with water, with a drop of ink, or watercolors or whatever, and just practice on paper, and practice drawing lines or drawing circles. And I don't know if have you seen on the internet when people demo their airbrush, they like to use an A4 paper and just they practice like long lines at different like distance, which controls your thickness. And if you go close, but then you go very like subtle with your pull, then you can draw very fine lines, and then you practice circles without breaking the line, like a continuous practice. Just like it's almost like warm up for your finger and your arm movements. Yeah, so you can, if you have no experience, it's a good way to practice. Yeah, okay, let's put that away and let's continue with the chat. Ratas, do you always trim your pegs or only the ones you're gonna paint? Well, I trimmed the pegs of the parts that I'm gonna take apart. Yeah. Hope that explains enough. Dr. Ninja Stein, hey, how's it going? Thanks for making it here. Yeah, still at work, but chilling here. Thank you. Thank you for having my stream in the background while you work, huh? yeah, I hope none of you guys have load shedding. Oh, Shane, Loud Lungs, you said, I'm good, just tired AF. Oh yeah, sure, man. And yeah, I seen last week you also haven't streamed a bit because yeah, I take it work's been hectic, hey? And then I think you mentioned there's some freelance or not freelance. Is it freelance work? Yeah. Super Sculpt, my hose that connect to the garden beat in my back porch is soaked. Oh no, is it right now? Hope that's getting sorted. Okay, Dr. Ninjastine, I'm on my third shot of Cuban espresso. Is that like just black espresso? Hey, yet my heart is calm. I'm gonna die when I get home. Oh no. Why are you on third? Is it for work? Like you need to just like, yeah, you need that caffeine or something. Let us all mutate and become coffee man. Dr. Ninjastine, I'm already am. Loud Lungs, adapt, evolve, overcome. Yeah, okay, cool. Just run through the chat here. Red says I had 4 monsters in a meter of 3 hours, I take it. Once at a drift event. They were free. Thought I was gonna die. Sure. The most monster I drank was probably like 2 in like one session. Can't imagine 4. Super Sculpt technically is not my hose, it's my mom's. I've told her. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys are getting sorted out. Yeah. Rat ass was young and stupid. Yeah. Sure, you guys are very lively tonight. Super Sculpt, my week is set. In the amusement park tomorrow, water park on Friday, and build night on Friday. Sure, nice. Enjoy it, eh? And Ratas, is that a Ninja airbrush? Yeah, so it's the one Supernovas. Yeah, our friend at Supernova, this is their airbrush. So as you can see, it's branded there, Supernova Studio, and on the other side you'll see Ninja. So you know, they didn't invent this airbrush. It's like probably just a no-name brand in from China. But what I really love, like compared to it's very well thought of. Like I don't know if they chose what parts they use, but for me it feels very balanced. Okay, first of all, you don't get this bottom what's the word I'm looking for now? Air filter. This is not part of it. So you know the airbrush is the top part. But comparing to like the other generic branded airbrush, like if I have to think about in South Africa, there's aircraft brand that's like very, you know, you see it a lot in hobby shops or art stores. You'll get like aircraft compressors or aircraft airbrush. So their airbrush is also like just taking a Chinese brand and just slap the brand on it. I've used one of those, and then comparing that to Supernova's one, is that first of all the price is actually cheaper, and the quality feels much better, especially like the weight distribution, you know, because like look, for cheap airbrushes, I don't know how wrong you can get, you know, it's like it's one fixed formula, they just mass produce it. So but with this, the weight on the back's really nice, and then you get a limiter, you get a nice cap. It feels very sturdy and very secure, and there's also another dial here to control air pressure. So it's like all the bells and whistles features that you feel that you'll get like in premium airbrushes. Obviously at the end of the day it's just the finest, but again that's there's the whole graph of diminishing returns, you know, like you can spend really cheap but you get crap, and then you can spend like decent amount and you get good quality, and then the more you spend, the less it's diminishing return. Like it's less and less impressive. So I feel like this is like, I think it's 800 rand. So I'm super happy with it. I've never used like a premium airbrush, but again, it works for me. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's not really about the tool. It's about how well you get comfortable with the tool, and just I suppose it's like a bicycle. You can buy a really cheap bicycle, and the more high end ones is like, oh, it's carbon material which gets lighter and lighter, but you can't rely on a high end bicycle to perform well. Like at the end of the day, it's about your skills and being able to handle it. Sure. So I'm like advertising Supernova's airbrush here. So yeah, if you ever get one of the airbrush, well, actually we still have a few in stock. So if you in South Africa and you want to support, you can get it through us. Otherwise, if you get it through them, you can like leave a chat or not a chat, a note saying like, hey, Gunpla, say sent me here. Because they also have a lot of other things. They've got paint and everything that you need. Like I used to support them like since 2 years ago on all the modeling supplies that I need. From respirators to paints, everything. Yeah. Okay. Hey Kenny, happy birthday. And load shedding at 10. Oh no. Okay, so I better get a move on then. Feel like the chat keep going. I can't catch up. But yeah, okay. Anyway, let's get back to the the build. Okay, well, the right leg's almost finished. So let me just put all the pieces close to the manual, then it's much easier for me to find them. Okay, I've got to trim off a nub here. There we go. Great, cool. Okay, so I'm gonna check, can I take apart this? It's quite stiff. Yeah, so should I trim off the peg? I think I'll trim off here. Cool. That's a unique articulation there. It's like totally, yeah, I haven't seen this in the Mecha model kit yet. Oftentimes, like if you have to look at the leg here, the back of the knee, usually in Gunpla it's like exposed joints. You can see, like if I use the RX-78-2 here, let's do that. Like there's clear indication that these are joints, so it's like armor is not covering that part. But if I look at this kit, it's like the joint is all covered up. Like this piece here, the back of the knee, that's not a joint, that's actually armor parts, but the joint, the actual articulation is happening within there. So it's like this thing's design has like really been thought of as like a real military situation, I suppose. Like, oh, if there's an enemy from your back and you know they try and shoot at your joints, well, like the joint is not exposed, not like the Gunpla kits. Like here, like the joint is exposed, you know, but in this case it's not. So yeah, it's like the only time the joint is exposed is like when it's like bends his knee like this. But even this knee piece, well, it's not really a knee piece because it extends up so high. So even if it bends a leg, this piece can still protect the inside of a joint pretty well. And when it bends so much, this like these grooves, gutters, it's almost designed to be for kneeling. It's really like stabilized from the knee piece as well. So again, I'm really impressed by just the conceptual design. They really thought about like real world scenario, well, at least how I feel, compared to Gunpla. Yeah, because Gunpla is very fictional, you know. Okay, should I snip off any? Okay, we'll snip off these two. And then this is also only my first Kyokai Senki kits, you know, and I know there's different designers that's responsible for different mechanical designs, so maybe it's just the mechanical designer for the Brady Hound that has put a lot of thought into realism or practical scenarios. I'm gonna be building like a Kenbuzan soon, whenever the stock gets here. Yeah, see how it, because I don't think it's designed by the mechanical designer. Okay, I don't think I need to trim off anything. Let me try and take it apart again. Okay, yeah, this one actually clicked in, so I probably need a part separator for this. Should be fine. Okay. Cool. That's one leg done. And let's, should we just attach it right here now? Get a feel for it. Nice. It's kind of a shame that there's no like front skirt to protect like this joint part. But it does look pretty like armored up already. Oh, very cool. Right, let's check the chat and let's continue with the other leg. Alright, let's see here. Yeah, Laubang's work is rough and I'm doing freelance stuff after hours, yeah, so energy level keeping up, yeah. Yeah, take care and make sure you get enough rest. Ratas, it's a water trap. I'm not sure what you're referring to now. Ratas, I'm already saving for my airbrush kit one day. Oh, that's good. Yeah, think ahead. But also just kind of take your time with the hobby, you know. Enjoy the building and then slowly ease into, you know, like some people can just jump into the deep end, you know, and invest a lot of tools and whatever, but how I personally feel like when you invest when you jump in the deep end and invest lots of equipment and tools, it's almost, you put a lot of pressure on yourself as well. So one step at a time, you know, build it up as you go. Laudans, Ratas, after I used up one whole spray can of priming, one spray can on priming, and decided it's time to airbrush ASAP. Yeah, you know, when you first start off, when you like have the option of, you know, if you look at the two option of spray cans or, you know, airbrush, airbrush is like a cheaper way to start, but in the long run, the, you know, the airbrush and compressor and paints does last a bit longer, which will like in turn like make it a bit cheaper, because like the problem with spray cans, especially for the Gunpla or how do I put it, like the model kits with lots of small parts that you got to paint individually, with spray can there's no control, so once you push down on a nozzle it just blasts like a lot of paint, and if you're painting like, let's say, like a small part like this, you know, that spray, you know, it hits like this part, but then all the part just like it gets wasted, like you wasting a lot of paint, and there's no finesse control. So you know, if you're painting like car model kits, yeah, spray can, it's like car model kits, what the top chassis or whatever it's called, like, you know, you just blast it with paint, and then like the base or whatever, that's like not as much color is involved there. So, you know, for bigger model kits, yeah, or ships or whatever, and spray can work for you. But when it comes to like model kits like this, where like you're painting almost like every single part you got to paint individually, spray can's gonna be like used up very quickly, and it's not even like being, the paint is actually not even going onto your piece. It's just going to the back, you know, whether it's a spray booth or whatever. I've seen a taco builder, when he uses spray cans, he actually holds a few like sticks of like skewers of like parts, so that when you blast it with with spray cans, at least it's hitting multiple pieces rather than just like blasting one piece, you know. Yeah. But yeah, definitely. Spray cans is easy to start, but yeah, it's not viable if you like get serious into painting in the long run. Super Sculpt. I'm going to find a kit to paint and what to paint it to in a few days. And what to paint it to? Like what color scheme you're going to paint it. Okay. Well, if you want to find a kit that's ideal to get into the airbrushing side of things, find a kit that's small, less pieces. Look, at the end of the day, do whatever you want, but you want to have quick turnaround time, and learn experience, and apply it to your next kit. So a small kit like a HG or even entry grade is perfect, because they have much less part counts, much simpler. So yeah, you can get through your painting journey on that kit rather quickly compared to like a real grade or master grade. Yeah. And then once you like finish your painting, put everything together, and then you'll feel like huge satisfaction, and you will learn a lot from like smaller kits. Yeah, primer can get expensive, and yeah, that's why Studio G invented his what's it? G Paint. And this is like the version 2. Well, it's not called version 2. It just basically replaces the first formulation of G Paint. This Ultimate G Paint, which is like the version 2, has primer properties in them. So you don't need to prime your kits beforehand. But still, like if you want to get into the hobby, it's still a good habit to prime your kits. For a number of reasons, you're creating a blank canvas. You can see imperfections, like if you need to, like if you sanded a bit too rough with a low grit sandpaper, then you'll see micro scratches, and you can like sand it nicely and then blast it quickly with like primer, like a very light coat. You don't even need to like try and cover the whole piece, and then that way you'll see if you sorted out your micro scratches, and then go in with the final paint job or base coat. Yeah, Ratas, but the airbrush covers more with less paint, so it's a lot better. Yeah, and plus you can have better control of the thinning ratio of your paint. Like me personally, I like to paint in like layers, so I like to thin it more actually, just so that my paint is more, it's not as opaque. Yeah, especially when I'm doing like techniques like black basing or black basing. It's not commonly known, but it's kind of like pre-shading. Yeah. Sure. Okay, I really can't keep up with the chat. I'm gonna be here like it's not a build stream anymore. It's gonna be like reading chat stream. Okay. Yeah, I'll continue with the chat soon, but let's build the other leg first. It's a time, because my mission for today is to finish this build. So I gotta balance out the chat and the build. Okay, so now I think I can go much quicker because I built the one side, so to be much more familiar now. Sorry, am I bumping to my mic here? Sorry if I'm causing a bit of rattle noise. Okay. Phew, almost dropped it. But I can see why the Brady Hound has so many different variation of kits that gets released, because yeah, it's a very well designed and engineered kit. So yeah, Bandai, go ahead and milk your hard work, because yeah, I think Brady Hound's the only mecha design, or the only kit that gets variations. The other enemy robots, they just get like a single kit, but the Brady Hound, like this is the second variation. The first one was the Brady Hound, and this is the Brady Hound Brad exclusive. It's like minor differences, but now they just recently released Brady Fox and Brady Phantom, which like it's almost like 90% of the kit is the same. Like it's only like minor differences, like different color schemes, and different armaments. Yeah. The Brady Phantom, it's like the last boss in the series, which like that one's got the most different parts, but like you can still see like the main core of the kit is still the same. Yeah. And I think there's even like smaller versions like called Joe Hound or something, and they also have like similarities to the Brady Hound, just certain parts. But yeah, it's a really great design. Okay, so where was I now? So this part. Just checking I can pull it apart. When I hear parts that clicks in, then you know, oh, it's a nice secure connection. But like I'm always like, okay, is it too secure that I can't take it apart anymore? Okay, remember these parts I snipped off these things. Okay, I just looked up and I see Ratas. Anyway, I'm out. Have a good night, everybody. Enjoy the stream. Cheers, Jeff. Have a good one. Oh, thank you, Ratas. Hope I don't know if you're still here, but good night to you. Man, I wish it's the weekend already. I kind of liked when we first started streaming. Like Paul did Tuesdays. Well, like Tuesday slot was Paul's, and then I had the Thursday slot, and it's like, oh, Thursday stream's nice because like the next day is Friday. It's like, hey, weekend's around the corner. It's like, but like now it's like, oh, tomorrow is just midweek. It's like this part I'll use my knife snipper because the blade is much pointier. I can get in these slit pegs kind of things. Good things, these things are quite thin, so it's there you go. nice and firm, but still I can manage to pull it out with no parts opener. Great. Cool. So that's that part done. What did I do here? Oh yeah, I snapped off these. Yeah, see, like there's the actual joint, and that's where it bends. But then like this back leg armor part covers that whole joint. Okay, let me just make sure to line it properly. Yeah, it covers it up. So it's like it's only there's the actual opening that allows it to bend, and yet it has so much like movement. Yeah. It's like what? That's pretty crazy. I really hope they take all these techniques into like Gunpla in future. Like hopefully they'll make a Gundam series that's even more like grounded to reality. Because yeah, I really enjoy a lot of realism in my robot series. Well, that's kind of why like 8th Mobile Suit Team is my favorite Gundam series. Just feels a lot more believable. Like not even just the warfare and the side of it, but even the characters feel more real, I think. Like the whole series has a much more grounded feel compared to a lot of the Gundam series, even in like the UC timeline. So yeah, if you haven't seen 8th Mobile Suit Team, definitely have it in your watch list. And yeah, speaking of which, like I can ask a question to you guys, like have you guys watched 8th Mobile Suit Team? What do you think of it? And if you haven't, yeah, look into it. It's almost like a, how do I put it? Like if I always thought of it like this, it's like a Romeo and Juliet plot in the Gundam universe. That's I don't know if that's considered spoilers, but yeah. Come on, it's like almost like over 20 years. I think it should be fine. Oh, come on. I feel like Butterfingers. Yeah, I love these claws at the end. It's like if I land on like soft soil or whatever, they can like dig in, get a better grip. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, I see what I mean about this extension part that normally covers the leg, but when it bends the leg like to to go down to kneel, it kneels like on that thing. Pretty cool. Sure. We're just looking at the time, an hour down, and I've only built the legs. Hopefully the rest of the stream, let's speed things up. But okay, let me finish the leg. Let me just quickly check the chat. Let's see. So I'm like so lost where I am in the chat now, but yeah, I'm just gonna pick up whatever. Hey, no sleep Shogun, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. And just scrolling. Let's see. Yeah, loud lungs. Yeah, totally. You waste a lot with the overspray. Yeah, you're talking about the spray cans. Yeah. Machine Heart, yay! Hey Paul, how's it going, man? Hope you're done with your load shedding. Hope today wasn't too hectic for you. You know, that goes for everybody. Hope ESCOM has the mercy on all of us. Yeah. Well, except for Ratsass, he doesn't experience load shedding like you mentioned before. Okay, a lot of conversation between you guys, so I'm not gonna like read through it. I'm just gonna like skim through it. Yeah. Hey Lindsay, how's it going? Okay, you're saying hello. I'm here for 5 minutes till load shedding. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's so hard to like find a, you know, especially in South Africa. It's like it's everybody has different load shedding schedules, so yeah, if you can't make it, yeah, it's totally okay. You know, we will post them on our YouTube a few days after. But yeah, you know, it's always exciting to try and catch it live, huh? Okay, let's see. Again, I'm just skimming through chat. Hopefully I haven't missed any cool parts. What's it? Machine Heart Paul says the goof stalking the gun tanks is such an awesome scene in 8th Mobile Suit. Yeah, that final battle was so awesome. Man, totally, if it wasn't for the mission and trying to destroy all the gun tanks, you know, Goof Custom would have totally won, man. Like, how many? It was like Goof Custom versus, how many? This was like 7 or 8 of them. Like, I think 3 of them were gun tanks, but like the others were Jims and Gundams, you know? Yeah. Again, it's not a super, like, how do I put it, like, over the top battle scene, but it was very, like, again, grounded in, well, reality. it's not based on reality. Like I saw, there was that part where Goof Custom was pushing the bridge, like there was a bridge part collapsed on a Goof Custom. In reality, that could never like work, but you know, again, compared to a lot of the Gundam series, like it's much more realistic. Yeah, the legs look really cool. Yeah, I really love that it's designed. Like, sure. Hey Villas, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Right, so let's continue with the build. Okay, so we've got the legs done. Let's move on to the arms. Yeah, I'm being very careful about taking these parts out. I don't want them to drop on the floor. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, the tip that I'm going to have, especially just building the one side, getting familiar with the parts. Nani? Who's here? What's it? Hada Fulun? Hada Fulun? Was it for a follow? Like, sure, I think I read too slow. But yeah, thank you for the follow, if it was a follow. Keep that flat here. As I was saying, so especially when I'm building like the one half of it, I like to just put the parts close to where it is in the manual, so I don't have to like try and find it within the crowd here. And once I built it once, then my memory will kick in. It almost becomes like a puzzle game, I suppose, with the other side. Okay. So that's this part. This one. This one. Okay, I think that's everything except for the hands, but I'll sort that out later. Okay, right, let's go. And yeah, so far I haven't seen any seams, so that's pretty cool. Wait, what? Ah, cool. Yeah. Cool stuff. Before I assemble it, I just want to see, do I want to trim certain pegs? So in this case, I'll trim off. Yeah. Okay, just taking a bit of time just to gauge before I assemble if I need to trim any pegs or not. Nice. I hope it's not too secure where it becomes a problem to disassemble. It should be okay. Yeah, there you go, that's fine. Yeah, so this one I can trim. And this piece with yeah, it should be fine. Some pegs are so short, you don't need to trim it. This part into that. Oh, very cool. Okay, these parts short pegs, but I feel I can trim it. Right. Yeah, this one I can trim. Awesome. Okay. I'm very impressed how they designed the pieces to fit together with this Kyokai Senki kit. Really clever. And yeah, I mentioned earlier about like behind the leg where it bends, this armor piece actually covers the joint. So, you know, if it were to be like shot from the back or whatever, to be protected. Unlike, you know, very common Gunpla parts, like you'll see that like that is an exposed joint. So similarly with the leg, they did the same thinking around the arm. So like this front armor covering the joint, so that when it bends, you know, it can still bend, but like covers so much of the joint part that, you know, if it were to be shot there, it will be hitting the armor first rather than hitting like on the actual joint. So very clever, very clever. Okay, let's quickly build a hand. And then I'll check the chat before we move on to the other side. Okay, I'm not gonna assemble this arm just yet because, as you can see, there's like there's empty gaps here. There's more armors coming on, so yeah, I'm just gonna leave it. Okay, yeah. So today's mission is to finish this build. So we might stream for like another close to another hour just to finish it. So let's see where we at. Okay, loud lungs, I gotta head out, friends. Loving the build so far, yeah. Take care. Yeah, get some good rest, hey? Yeah. Her dad Falun? Okay, good vibes, yeah, thank you. Hope I got your name correctly. Are you in our build force or are you somebody new? Yeah, not sure, because some people from the build force, they use different aliases when they come into Twitch. I think JP, Ebola Zaire, he's got like, I can't remember what his Twitch handle was, but it was like, yeah, very different. Okay, new. Okay, awesome, sweet, yeah. But, you know, judging from your surname for Leon, I take it you're South African, eh? Did you hear about the stream from like Instagram, or how did you come about knowing about our Twitch stream? Okay, so let me get the other arm part. Kamina 087, thank you for the follow. Kamina, that's the name of the character from Gurren Lagann, am I correct? The big brother, I think. Okay, let's see here. So now I've built one side, I'm much more familiar with the pieces. I'm not going to put the parts on top of the manual now. Not necessary anymore, I think. And I also remember where I snipped off the pegs to make my disassembly much easier in the future. Once you've built the one side, the other side goes much quicker. Remember, I trimmed off this pig here. Cool. Very nice. Just want to double check something. Alright, cool. Okay, so that's the arms. Ooh. Yeah, it's quite interesting with the thumb and the pinky. It's like, it's not built like a human's anatomy. Yeah, it's very unique. But I think, you know, as a mechanical design, this probably serves as a better way to grip things, and it's more symmetrical, so that, you know, when you grab something, like the pinky will actually go around like this to grab it, just like the thumb. It's probably more secure that way. And the arms, like, it's hollow here, so it's almost like there's a lot much less weight in the upper body of this mech, so that it, you know, to maneuver the arm, you know, because of less joint, because there's hollow parts, it's probably like much faster to move or to bend the arm, and, you know, better sense of weight to the bottom of the mech, if I think about it like logically. Yeah. Yeah, like as I'm building this thing, I'm just trying to like think about like what is the thought process of the actual designer. Okay, let's build the hover unit, which is like the units on the side of the body. Yeah, cool. Okay, let's check the chat. Haddad Falun, bought from Gunpla SA, first builds. Okay, what kits did you get from us? And have you joined our Discord community? Yeah, if you haven't, then yeah, really cool if you joined us. Yeah, there's lots of community stuff happening in there. Not only that, our Discord channel or Discord community is the fastest way you'll get information, even like faster than social media, because, you know, it's essentially a chat platform. So, you know, when we get new shipments in or whatever, you can ask the guys. The guys go crazy once like we drop in the boxes of teaser pictures of the boxes, and they just go nuts, like, oh, and they know that day is like when they hit like spam F5 or refreshing the browser just to see when the new products are uploaded. Well, not uploaded, released on the site. Yeah. Because as you know, like Gunpla is a very hot item, and there's limited supply of them. So people act very fast to grab them up. So if you don't want to miss your chance, Discord is the best platform to join. Besides all the other fun activities as well, you know, people share pictures of their builds and, you know, ask questions on the hobby, and yeah, like everybody chips in to help out, you know. So it's not just me and Paul trying to help you guys out, but, you know, fellow builders chips in as well. That's the whole point of our Gunpla SA, you know, like we're trying to build up the community. We're not just here to sell model kits or products. We're here to the core or the heart of our Gunpla SA is about community. And yeah, the rest of the build force have done a really great job to welcome new people in, helping each other out. What part was this now? Where was this part? Oh yeah, this is used much later. Yeah, that's for the sword. Yeah, I remember from yesterday when I was cutting out the parts. Okay, great, cool. Mimi Mitgi or Mimi Digi? Sure. Hope I'm pronouncing well. I hope I pronounced, like, you know, one of them right. Okay, so let me just check here. Let's see, what should I snap off here? Go. Okay, Kamina 087, yes, from Gurlagen, yeah. one of my favorite mecha shows. Just gets my blood boiling when I watch it. Super epic. Let's try to gauge here. Maybe snip off these parts. Hadad Fulian, did I ask like what kits did you get from us? I would love to hear. And have you built them yet? Do you have any questions for me or even the guys in the chat? Like I don't know, are you a new builder or have you built kits already? Yeah, like I'm asking questions as if like you're a new builder. Maybe you're not, you know, maybe you're super pro. This part goes here. Okay, in the manual it says be careful and do not cut these little things, but I'm gonna trim it off. So not completely cut it off, just trim it a little bit. Make disassembly much easier. Here, before I put this on, let's see. What can I trim? Okay, these three here. Disassemble this because yeah, I clicked in, so it sounds like it's gonna be much more secure. Let's whip out part separator. Yeah, okay, there you go. Cool, no problem. I wonder if I can just trim even more to make it looser. Okay, much easier. Right. In. Okay. Before I push it all the way in, try and take it out. Yeah, it's quite a stiff part, so I'm going to trim here. Just the corners. Interesting. Okay, so that's one side. Okay, I can assemble one of the arms here. So what does it say? Check the orientation of this part. Okay. Ooh. Cool. Yeah. Sure, I'm just admiring the engineering and design of this kit. Oh, very cool. Okay, let's move on. I'm gonna do, before I do the other side, I just wanna assemble the sword piece here. Got an attachment, but where was it in the manual? Here we go. Okay, I'm kind of assembling the sword and taking it out just so I can gauge the feel. Like, it's a very firm connection. I'm just wondering, would I need to sand the connection a little bit when it comes to when I get to painting this? Maybe just a little bit on the inside, just so that it's not as firm connection, so that one scrape of paint, perhaps. Cool. Let's make you stand now. Okay, let's do the other side. And it's almost finished. Then it's just the rifle, basically. Ooh. Sorry, buddy, I pushed you over. Here you go. Carefully this time. So I see there's a mold line that's going across here. I wonder if there's a better way for them to place the design this piece in the mold. But I suppose this is still probably the best way to, because like this piece has a lot of hollow parts from underneath, so it's this is probably the best way to place this piece for the mold to make it work. But luckily this is a very simple mold line to get rid of. Okay. Just fit it back in. Ooh, oopsie. Okay, and then I remember I trimmed off certain pegs here. 1, 2, 3, let's do. On top here. Let's try and take it apart. Yeah, okay, good, easy. And this one also got trimmed around the corner. Right. Satisfying click. Okay, this thing, there's a nice gap in between these hover units. I wonder if you can push it a bit in to make it, but I suppose you don't want to do that because having this gap allows the shoulders to like pivot forward for better articulation. Nice. Let's connect the sword. It's kind of a weird placement for swords. Like, can it even reach across to grab it? Like, just barely, I think. Or does it grab the one on the same side? Like, does it do that? I suppose. It's kind of a weird placement. On the hips probably makes more sense, but I suppose this way looks but quite unique for the design. Yeah, alright, cool. And the last part, just the rifle. see. Dr. Ninjastan says, right, I'm gonna head out, but you have a beautiful, wonderful day. Thank you. Oh, it's in South Africa, it's almost the end of the night here. But yeah, thank you. Hope you have a great rest of your day in Florida in the US, huh? Let's finish off the rest of the build here. There's some extra hand parts. And yeah, finished. Ta-da! Great. Should actually refer to the manual, huh? There we go. Let's see here. Ah, trying to assemble at the wrong placement. Okay, rifle seems pretty enough, easy enough. I wonder, normally it's the weapon that has seam, like guaranteed it's gonna have a seam line. But let's see how this rifle does. See, before I assemble it, do I need to trim any pegs? Okay, that's fine. Could trim those 2, 3, yeah. Let's see. Nice. Then place it on top of the menu here. This is this part here. Great. Nice. Alright, then combine the parts here. This is the scope here. Magazine. Nice, they make a removable magazine. Something that you don't see with like the HG line. The HG line is usually like quite simplistic and not as much detail. So it's nice to see like an actual functional magazine. Okay, this handle got a little gap in between. Yeah, so that's intentional. Alright. Huh. Look at this hand. It's got some mechanism to it, so to use it for holding weapons, you shift the back plate of the hand forward, because yeah, normally in this state, let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so to hold the weapon you shift the back plate forward. So basically normally the slit is like closed, like the hole is not entirely open, but once you shift it forward then you can hold the weapon, the gun or the sword. Yeah, it's very clever. I think this is like a design I would love to see them applied to some Gundam designs, for especially for high grades, because a lot of the time high grades, yeah, let's use the RX-78 to origin here. They just see it's just like a hole, unless you use the open palm hand, but the closed, well, like the weapon holding hand, if you're not holding a weapon, it just looks like a circle there. So having this design looks a bit more appealing. So like in normal case it's not entirely closed in, but it's like there's better detail, I feel. And then when you need to use it to hold something, just shift it forward, then it's just a nice hold and you just pop your weapon in. Yeah. Okay, let's swap the hand. Cool. Let's zoom back out a little bit. Just trying to admire the design here. Not sure how I feel about this rifle design that's like off center. It's not a common like design, I suppose, especially for mecha weapons. Yeah, it feels quite weird. And because it's off center, you can't use it on the other hand, because like, well, technically I suppose you could, but it just feels odd. Let's see. Yeah, it just feels weird. I've never seen a like gun that's like placed intentionally off center. Cause like in my head is like I'm thinking about the weight distribution, because like these things, like the rifle itself, it's probably like a ton on its own, at least, and mechanically like has to work against gravity just to hold it uptight without like having this thing just drop and be angled like that. Yeah. Like I wonder if I'm gonna do some physical modification to it. Maybe I'll place it in the center, maybe? It is a unique design, but sometimes unique, it's like hasn't been thought of as well. Realistically? Okay. Alright, so I think what I'll do is I'll place I'll place a sword in the left hand. Come on. Pop it off. Yeah. Rifle on the right. There you go. Let's put this to the side there. Let's see. Hey, how cool is that? Sure, I would make it stand, but then you guys just see the top of his head, so I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, sure. I'm really impressed by the experience that I had building this kit. Very unique. Gonna have some fun taking some photos to share with the build force in Discord, and of course on social media as well. I'm actually wondering, how does it compare to an average HG Gunpla size? Let's bring the RX-78. Yeah, just slightly taller. But in terms of volume, you can definitely see it's like much bulkier. And yeah, the weight as well, it feels very solid. It's quite, like, I wouldn't say top heavy, but it's got a substantial volume in the core, the top. But when it comes to posing and standing poses, yeah, it stands quite nicely. Yeah, I think even the feet is quite narrow compared to like average Gunpla kits. It's got a very well sense of center of gravity. Yeah. I wonder about like kneeling poses. Let's see how it pulls it off. Okay, not too bad. Yeah, so when Neil's kind of looks like that. So this skirt armor piece like pivots in the center there, so it can pivot like that, and it allows more room for the one leg to go higher. Yeah, and in the center body area, it will just pivot like in the center. Well, I mean not pivot like to one side, just so that it still looks like it's upright, and then kneels like that. But then I have seen on manual as well, like it actually just does kneeling poses with both knees. It's almost like a stationary pose. Let's see if I pull it off here. I know you don't see it from the properly because you just seen the top of it. But I think, yeah, this is how it does it. Yeah. So basically Neil's like almost like a Japanese samurai. Just before it takes like seppuku. Yeah, so the kneecap is almost like landing gears as well. So it will have direct contact, a flat direct contact with the ground. Very cool. Very cool. Sure, I can't stop playing with this. Like a lot of mechanical design is simple, but very well thought of. Yeah, I hope the guys that's watching, one day you'll decide to pick up one of a Kyokasenki kit, whether it's one of the Brady Hounds or any other, kits from the Kyokasenki line. I'm sure you'll be, if you're a Gunpla builder, try it out, and maybe you'll be surprised by some of the engineering that goes into it. For me, it's very refreshing compared to a Gunpla build. Cool. So let's just put it in one final pose, then we do a sign off. Okay, maybe just lie it down like this so you guys can see it. Okay. Alright, yeah, so this is it. It's been a good stream. Thank you guys for joining me on this journey. Let's transition it. Yeah. So yeah, there it is. The Brady Hound Brad exclusive. Yeah, very impressed with this kit, and just looks really like realistic compared to like the Gunpla model kits that I've built in the past. And yeah, very awesome package. Yeah, I'm gonna spend a lot of time like after the stream just like looking at all the small details and the designs that went into it. There's so much more surface detail compared to your average HG Gunpla kit, because I think the biggest thing is because the scale is different. Thank you for follow, Lemonstruli one. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, so as I was saying, there's a lot of surface detail compared to a lot of the HG Gunpla kits, because I think mainly the scale is different, because HG Gunpla is scale 1:144 and the Kyokasenki HG kits is 1:72. So you essentially are looking at this robot at a closest scale, so they packed in a lot of surface detail on it, like a lot of rivets. I don't think you're going to see it on camera, but yeah, there's lots of rivets, lots of panel lines. Yeah, essentially just very, very cool. I can't wait to actually paint it up one day. I'm actually just thinking in my head, like, what kind of color scheme would I go for? Probably something very military, so like tone down the saturation perhaps. It's a very like saturated blue, so maybe I'll just tone it down just to give it a more realistic feel to it. Yeah, cool. So before we close the stream, I want to look for somebody to raid and show them some love. So yeah, let's check it out. Let's go onto Twitch and look for a builder. Let's see. And no sleep shogun, really cool. Thanks for the stream. Are the weapons compatible with Gundams? Well, let's try it out right here. So, you know, I've got my RX-78-2, and generally the HG kits, the, how do you put it, the hand? They all follow like a standard hole size, if you put it that way, generally. So you're asking, are the weapons compatible? Okay, so let's take off the rifle and take off the sword. I imagine probably, but not perfectly, because like if you look at the Brady Hound, the hand slit is almost like a rectangle slit, and with the RX-78-2 is more like a squarish, roundish. But let's try it out. Boom, there you go. It looks weird. I've never seen a RX-78-2 with a like physical sword. You know, it's traditionally you see it holding like a beam saber, so it's kind of weird. And this sword is like very tall. And then let's try out the gun. Yeah, so it's not a perfect like fitting, especially with the off-center rifle. You know, it's kind of colliding with this wrist design that's jutting off, so it's not like perfect, but you know, it does fit within the hand. It's just it's not a perfect design, but it does fit in there. Yeah, so if you want to like kit bash, you could do it. Just the design language, you know, it might not fit the kit that goes in. For example, like I mentioned, like having RX-78-2 holding a physical sword weapon feels a bit alien. You say, have you seen the double Commando Quanta? Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've seen the HG. It looks pretty cool. It's like a nice redesign. It's not a redesign, like a remix design, if you put it that way. Yeah, I love the colors as well. It's got a military green to it. Yeah, that Gundam also has a physical sword. Yeah, I think a lot of the Gundams in the 00 series, they do use physical melee weapons more than beam weapons. Especially with like the Exia, the 00 Gundam, and even the Quanta. Yeah, their main weapons are all physical blades. So you know. In that series, it's more natural to see them with physical blades, but yeah, in the Universal Century anime or timeline, you know, physical weapons most of the time is beam weapons. Yeah. So in that case, it's kind of weird to see Opal Gundam with a physical blade. Yeah. Okay, anyway, so back to I was saying, I want to find somebody to raid before we end off the stream. So let's find make some crafting. Let's see if I can just share my screen. Okay. Alright. See anybody building? Gunpla. See some pliers. Metal earth build. What is that? There's 3D printing. Always, eh? So many 3D printing. Let's see. Okay, there's Calamity Gundam. Cool. There's that option. Let's see, who else? Metal Earth is really cool. I saw them for sale. What is Metal Earth? Is it like a metal puzzle? Okay, I don't think I see any other. Oh wait, there's MG Gundam Virtual. Okay, so that's two options. So since Shogun, you're talking about Gundam 00, I think that's raid the Gundam Virtual. Virtue. Metallic models. Okay, yeah, I think I've seen 3D, like not 3D, metal puzzle or metal kits of the RX-70A2 and the Zaku 2 as well. Yeah, I've seen them around somewhere. Okay, so I need to grab Bad Gunpla. Oh, I've watched some of his YouTube videos in the past. Okay, so let's raid him. Come back to the chat. Where is my chat here? So I'll go. So it's /raid, and I just drop their username, hey? Let's try if that works. Okay, so I think that's gonna work. Thank you for the stream, and I'll see you next time. Next time should be pause stream, and or it's either that or we're gonna do a podcast. Covering community stuff, but yeah, we'll see. So until next time, keep building joy, and then I'm gonna hit the chat to raid them. And okay, waiting and end stream. Where's my mouse cursor? Wait, raid now. There you go. Bye. So many buttons.